Hi, this is a iOS XE router upgrade demonstration, but it actually applies to all the iOS XE router and switch devices, and also all the iOS devices. So this is a bundle upgrade method, and we are currently running 16.0803 going to 17.0303. So if I show you the routers, this is a router 1 with a 16.0803, and same for the 16.003 is actually running on the router number 3 as well. Okay, I've actually logged in and enabled the turn-on and debugging SCP for the file transfer. Okay, the script that we are going to use is called the iOS UpRP version 04 YAML. This has all the smarts to upgrade our iOS end-to-end. That is a pre-check, uploading, capturing all the configurations, changing the boot variables, and then trigger reload, wait for the routers to actually come up, log back in, capture another set of short commands to the post comparison of the before and after configurations. Okay, I've actually written exactly the same script in Python, but the advantage of Ansible is that it can do multiple iOS upgrades in parallel, meaning that technically it should take a lot less time and you can do more within given time. So this is a fantastic way to actually upgrade if you have a 50, 100, and 1,000 devices of the same type. Okay, so first is asking for pre-checking information. So I need to actually provide my sudo user ID here. Okay, enter password twice. It's asking for the MD5 value of the new iOS, which is this one. I already actually downloaded and capture this information. So to make sure that we enter the correct numbers, it's actually probing for twice. Now it's asking for the name, file name, which will be used for the validation and verification as a pre-task. As part of this task, we'll create 4 directories called the working directory 00, 01, 02, and the backup and the date specified in a folder. Now it's asking for the network admin password and ID. So net admin is my user ID, and I have to enter my password twice. So it will ask for the file name one more time. Oops, so I've actually entered the wrong file name. So let me actually copy that, go back, enter that, and this file will be actually used. And the name we actually grab 17.0303 using the regular expression in the YAML file and use that as a variable to the cross validations between the currently running server and the iOS to be upgraded to. Okay, so when I actually hit enter, the process will actually begin. Okay, I might as well run the clock so we can actually check the time. Okay, just get that actually running, and I'm just gonna hit enter to begin our iOS upgrade. So if you are not familiar with the Python, Ansible is actually a great platform to actually begin your automation, especially network. It might be a little bit hard to actually get the grasp of how things actually work, because you also have to have a bit of a Linux background, because Ansible was actually made for Linux. Okay, so the file transfer is actually already happening, as you can see here. The file size is around 500 megabyte in size, so it should take around 5 minutes, I'm expecting. So if I go back, I'll show you where the file is. It's actually under my FTP share, okay, and this is the file that we're actually uploading at the moment. So if we go back to routers here, quickly do a dir, and then as you can see, this is the file we're uploading at the moment to both devices. So Ansible is actually fantastic because it actually uploads the files in parallel and runs them at the same time. So as you can see, the file size should be increasing. Okay, now on the number 3 router. Okay, let's quickly copy this guy and then use that here as well. So 150 meg, 160. So we need to wait until this hits 500 meg, because that's how big the file is. Okay, slightly less than 500, I would say, because that's in actually kilobytes. But okay, so we're not going to need this one for the time being. And let's see. Okay, it's just going through the iOS upgrade. So I have about 3 minutes here to explain further how my script actually works. So basically, it's an Ansible YAML file. And I'm going to actually quickly start new session and show you what the file looks like in 3 minutes. Okay, so now this is the file that we are actually using at the moment. This doesn't look good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clear that. Alright, and then rather than using cat, I'm actually going to nano, which gives a better coloring for your view. So we collect the information, alright, then we quickly do the pre-check, and we actually create the 4 working folders or directories, and then we run this against the routers. It automatically estimates the time required to actually upload the file. So 600 is 10 minutes by default, and then every device that we have, we actually count the number of the host and then times it by 60 seconds and add it to 600. So if you have one device, we will have a 660 seconds. 2 devices, meaning that we have a 720 seconds for the file upload. This value will be used when we actually trigger the iOS upload. Usually it takes less time than 720 minutes for 2 devices. As I said, it will take about 5 minutes in my lab, but this value needs to be adjusted, depending on the slowness of your network in the real production. Okay, so we actually get more information about the network admin password and user ID. And one more time, we ask for the .bin file. Then we quickly check, that the connectivity is good to our devices. So we'll quickly check, port 22 is open and we can reach it there. Any devices not on the network will be dropped off here, any host. And Ansible will only run the rest of the YAML script against the ones that can be actually reachable. Alright, now we do a quick, file size. So we check the file size on the disk, flash of the router, as well as, we check the file size of the actual file on the FTP server or the SCP. Okay, something's happening here. Alright, so copy is already done now, finished. It's going through the next process now. So if I show you here, okay, that looks good. And that looks good. I'm already actually kicked out because it's actually triggered the reload. So now let's go back to our router. So as you can see, the reload has been triggered. It's going through the reload and booting into a new iOS install mode. Sorry, bundle mode. My correction. So now it's actually waiting for 120 seconds before it actually starts probing port number 22. Reboot normally takes around 3 minutes in my lab. In the production, this may actually vary. So some adjustment is actually required. Okay. So while it's actually reloading, I got another 2 minutes here to explain about the code. So let's go and explain the rest of the code. So we actually calculate the file size in megabyte. Okay, if there's enough space on the flash compared to the actual file size, so we need about 1.45 times, of the iOS size free space on the flash, so everything goes smoothly. These days, the storage is not much of a problem, but on the older devices, you have to be pretty careful with this planning. You really have to take care of, how much, free space you have on the flash. If there's not actually enough, then we'll actually fail it, and then we won't be able to actually upload the iOS files on the device. Okay. Alright, so now it actually dissects the file name, and then we use the regular expression here on this line to grab the 16.0305, in this case 17.0303. Okay, we debug it and then check it against the Ansible net version, current version, against the new iOS version we entered. Alright, and we run the backup, save the output to the backup file for the configuration backup. We run config and save the iOS. Okay, we extend the SSH timer to 99 minutes just in case it times out. Okay, something's happening here again. All right, so leave that for the time being, and it's actually came up. So it actually went in and did its thing, did a validate, and then looks like software upgrade has been completed successfully, and current version is 17.03. Okay, for router 1 and router 3. So both devices looks very good. So as I said, we will actually pause for 2 minutes for the services and the interfaces to come up. So we have a clear picture of what the current running configuration looks like. We wait for 2 minutes here. So now go back to the script again and explain further. After 120 minutes, we'll actually run the same set of show commands, create the files, and then make a comparison and create the final verification file. Okay, so we quickly run the show commands. These are show commands that we are running. Save that as the inventory hostname underscore pre.txt file, and then we save all those into a single file. Okay, for the comparison and validation purpose. This will save you a lot of time. In the production, if you do this manually, engineers actually spend as much time performing the validation after the upgrade, and this will cut the time into maybe 5 minutes, and you will see how that's actually done later. Now we need to clear the existing boot variable using no boot system, and then we put a new boot system flash command. Okay, and then run the show command, and then we finally trigger the reload. After that, we reload, wait for the reachability to the device via SSH on port 22. We give a delay of 120, meaning that we wait for 120 minutes before we start probing. Timeout is 1200, meaning that we are going to wait for 20 minutes for the routers to come up. If it doesn't come up in 20 minutes, then this will actually time out. We delegate this to localhost, so Ansible control node will actually perform this task of probing. Okay, and then we come back, log back in, restore the SSH timer, the VTY line 015, line VTY 015 to 15 minutes. Okay, we don't want to leave this to 99 minutes, which we actually did before. Now run another set of show commands, exactly the same commands. Get the output, save it to the same directory, but this time we actually save it as the underscore post.txt. Okay, right. Moving down, that's just part of the code that we actually capture the output, right? And then this will actually do the post check new iOS version to make sure that the new iOS version that we triggered is equal to Ansible net version, which is actually collected by the iOS fact. And it will actually display this message. And that's not the end of it here. At the end, we run the localhost playbook. We continue, wait for 2 minutes. We delegate to our localhost, and this will actually run Python compare file 01 version 1.0 of py command, and we'll do the comparison, and then it will do its magic to actually split the actual file, and then finally it should actually print out this message if everything actually went smoothly. Okay, so looks like everything is actually green and it's a successful upgrade. And now if we go back, there's actually our pre and post. Okay, let's go back and check the pre and post files. So this file and this file was actually compared. this file and this file was compared, and then what it does is it actually creates these two files here, as you can see. So I'll open this one up in a, I'll open this one up on the web. Okay, so now this is a pre and a post. Okay, so if you can see, at this time there was no proof variable. After the post, putting, this is the new proof variable. We're running 16.0803. Now we are running 17.0303. Okay, moving down. So this is actually quite new. So this was released on 4th of March 2021. This was a couple of years old. Okay, moving down, nothing special. So everything looks good, hunky dory. And this is actually comparison of the show running command. And then if you see show interface summary command, you can see that there's actually some activity going on. Before we had a lot more, but now it's actually reloaded. We have a less. And you can check the show IP interface brief as well. Looks good. They're all up. Okay. Okay, moving along nicely. No special changes here. So the Ember, before we were running 33. After the upgrade, Ember is actually 40. Ember version is 40. Okay. The loaded package is actually 50. So fantastic, it actually looks good. Okay. So now that let's explain the rest of the file. Okay, so that's actually all explained up to here. Now let's go back to our Python file. So the special magic file that we do the last verification is called the compare file, files underscore version 1.0.py. And I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. It's basically a Python file which actually uses a bunch of modules, and then we actually use the compare magic. Okay, so basically the diff library is used, and then we actually spit it out as a HTML file. Okay, thank you very much, and have a wonderful experience with developing Ansible scripts for your iOS upgrade. Any questions from your question on YouTube, then I might be able to actually answer you back straight away. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.